Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to be a first look and overview of the Royal Regimen in Dragalia Lost. This is a brand new tutorial system where Professor Knot sort of teaches you some of the mechanics and different things at work in Dragalia that help you progress your account from the early game to the mid game and beyond. I'm really excited to actually check this out because for the first time, Dragalia has a proper tutorial system built in, and I think it's going to help a lot of new players. Having said that, we also got some other news at Reset about a new raid event happening tomorrow featuring Wukong, which looks pretty hype. And of course, we got our Master Difficulty Volk's Wrath, which I'll briefly mention. The Tier 2 Agito weapons for that, you don't need to max unbind those over time. They come max unbound already, which I love. But the focus of this video is going to be on Knot and the Royal Regimen, and we'll get into Master Volk later in the week. I might make a guide for that, or at least share my first clear sometime later in the week. Let's take a look at what the Royal Regimen has to offer. Clear Professor Knot's endeavors to earn rewards. As you clear Professor Knot's endeavors, you'll learn how to perform upgrades and other tips for playing Dragalia Lost. So, a present for the hard worker, and what else do we have going on here? Basic drills. View the Wormprint section of the treasure trade. There's a lot going on the screen. Obviously, some endeavors are popping off at the top, and there's kind of this weird, I think, a visual glitch on the right side. They'll probably fix that fairly soon. Okay, here we go. So there's multiple stages. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. And right now we're in Stage 1. And, when you click on these, it even tells you some basic information about what step you're taking, what the endeavor is, and why it's important. So this one's for clearing part of the main campaign. And the next thing we have to do is view the Wormprint section of the treasure trade. And it kind of explains how to get there, or you can even hit this go button. So let's see what that does. So now we're in the shop, and we go to Wormprints. This is the Wormprint shop where you can spend Eld Water. Now let's go back to see Knot, and we get a big congratulations. I guess just for completing that one... Oh, I was going to say for completing that one step, but maybe that one step was what was keeping us from unlocking all the rest of them automatically. So it seems like some of these apply retroactively, which makes sense. So we're going to accept that one. And let's kind of look through here and see what the types of milestones they have for players are. So here it says equipping Wormprints will help you through the main campaign. So they're kind of giving you like a tip each time. Then unlocking 10 mana nodes for a Flame-attuned Adventurer. And you can also get mana from the main campaign. That makes sense. That's obviously something you do want to do pretty early. Then use the optimized feature. The optimized feature tends not to be very good, so I can't say I recommend this, but at least if you use the optimized feature, it does tend to give you the preferred element you're going for. So it kind of makes sense that they're starting with Flame because the first chapter in the story has a lot of wind enemies. So maybe for chapter 2, they'll do like... They'll do wind, since that's strong against water. Then they want us to upgrade a rupee mine, so that's teaching you how to upgrade. Facilities. Place a flame altar in the castle grounds. That's kind of teaching you how to place facilities that you get by leveling up. And unlock 10 mana nodes for a wind-attuned adventure. So here we go. So now we're kind of transitioning toward chapter 2. So it seems like this is structured in a way where it helps you as you're going through the story. Use the optimized feature to form a wind-attuned team, same thing. And then clear chapter 2-1 of the main campaign. Nice, and you actually get a 5-star summon voucher for an adventure off of that, which when you're brand new, all of those 5-star summon vouchers have a really good chance of giving you a new unit. So a couple more endeavors here. Upgrade a dragon tree to level 2. And then I see give a gift to a dragon. The prizes on these aren't huge, but early they're kind of nice. Like one succulent dragon fruit to a veteran player doesn't mean a lot, But when you're really early, just having a few extra levels on a dragon is kind of nice. We get some hustle hammers for, let's see what that was for again. For placing a wind altar, and some skip tickets for clearing Wind Mall ruins. So now they're kind of introducing the elemental ruins, some of the permanent content in the game. Upgrading a wind altar to level 10, and you get wind orbs by playing wind ruin, so that makes sense. And again, all of these things could help you with chapter 2. So now they have a reward for clearing a late stage in chapter 2. Upgrading a wind attuned dragon, same deal here. So it seems like they've set this up in a pretty linear fashion, and this is just stage 1. I would imagine this goes all the way through like chapter 5 or so. There's something new. Enter an alliance and claim your check-in reward. So they see alliances as something you'd probably want to do fairly early, which does make sense, and you can always make one yourself, and you do get a good check-in bonus for that. And then upgrade the Halidom to level 2, upgrade the Smithy to level 2, and from here, it looks like we're getting a lot of the same endeavors, but for water, and I want to say chapter 3 has flame enemies, so this sort of fits perfectly, and the weapons you get actually work on the story characters. So we saw a flame sword for Yuden, a wind axe for Ronzel, and now we're seeing a water lance for Elisan. This is just exactly what we needed, I feel, because I tried to make a beginner's guide. It ended up being very long, had to sort of shorten it down artificially, and it was still very compressed. This basically gives you that type of roadmap in the form of these endeavors. Like, if you're a brand new player to the game right now, this should be, from what I've seen so far, and we'll decide by the end of this video, like, this should be your compass of what types of things to do. So now we're clearing flame content because we've been powering up our water characters, so we're getting a bunch of rewards for doing that. Upgrading our flame altars using the orbs from the flame ruins. Interesting, clear a dragon trial on beginner. That's a little new, but that's another mode that they want to introduce. So I guess that's around the time that they'd want to introduce it. Raise a shadow attuned adventure to level 40. One thing to notice here is with water it was 30, with shadow it's 40, so they're successively increasing the levels because the story does get harder. So they want your characters to be at higher levels. Now we're optimizing for a shadow attuned team, and ooh, I see a nice reward coming up. Looks like we're going to get a Moonlight Stone from this, which really helps early on to unbind 4-star dragons from summoning that have strength. So that's pretty good. What else we got here? Light Attuned Adventure to 50, so they raised that an additional level. Light Attuned Dragon to 30, that's also higher, but generally speaking, it's kind of the similar pattern here. And then eventually upgrading shadow stuff as well. Clearing a dragon trial on standard, reaching a higher bonds level with your dragon, upgrading the Halidom to level 3, and then for clearing all endeavors, we also get another 5-star summon voucher. So that's it for stage 1. Stage 1 kind of takes you through chapter 5 of the campaign and a lot of like the basic systems and basic game modes that aren't too hard. So I'm hoping to see here that stage 2 will kind of take us through like Imperial Onslaught, maybe Void Battles as well. But this time around we don't have to go exit this page to look at anything. So let's see what stage 2 entails. Upgrade the Smithy to level 3. Raise a Flame Attuned Adventure to level 70, which is nice because Yuden, he comes as a 4-star, so putting him to level 70 makes sense. And I see they're going with Flame again, in part because Chapter 6 focuses on the wind element generally, so having flame-attuned characters helps. They even tell you about placing a wind Dracolith, which you get from the end of Chapter 6, and then maybe the next stuff will be for Chapter 7. There's one for upgrading the Halidom to level 4, and they even mention Talon Stones, which are kind of a scarce material that you need to do that. Something for placing a sword dojo, which you get dojos after Chapter 6, so it is good to remind players to actually place those and use them so they can upgrade them. Then we get clearing the Imperial Onslaught on beginner. Imperial Onslaught or IO does unlock after Chapter 6. so it makes sense that that would happen here. Yeah, and now we're getting rewards for powering up wind characters, and then eventually for clearing Chapter 7 and placing a water Dracolith. But what else do we have here? Upgrading a Smithy to level 4. Interesting, it called out that you can craft 4-star core weapons after doing that. So that might be part of the progression that they expect us to do. Reaching 7,000 might with the team. Try crafting some 4-star weapons from the crafting menu. So that does seem to be the case. Like, this is sort of their vision of how you might go about raising your might by crafting weapons. And you get like a good amount of these materials now at the end for clearing Imperial Onslaught on Standard and a Dragon Trail and Expert. 100 Succulent Dragon Fruit, 100 Consecrated Water is no joke. That's something that's still good to me, like to add to my stash. So this one seems shorter than Stage 1. It's basically now just gotten us through Chapter 7, so this didn't touch upon Void Battles, but this is almost exactly the path that I recommended in my beginner guide, is like, you want to clear Chapter 6 and 7 ASAP, because those unlock some key game modes, and in particular, clearing Chapter 7, like getting Void Battles, is pretty huge. So now let's look at Stage 3. Once again, we completed all the endeavors immediately, because they apply retroactively. So what does Stage 3 start with? Obtain Midgard Stormer from the treasure trade. This is a good tip. People may not realize, because the shop we tend to associate with like spending money, but the shop has the treasure trade and a lot of other things that matter to free-to-play players. Now we're upgrading the Smithy to level 5, and then you get some nice orbs for that, mid-tier orbs. And now they're kind of pushing us toward 30 mana nodes, up from 20 in the Stage 2. Oh, and I like this. I like how this cascades here. So each endeavor helps you with the next one. Basically, each element helps you with the next one with the rewards you get off of it. So they're just doing this for all the elements. Get somebody to 30 mana nodes. 30 mana nodes is a very respectable amount, but we'll see if they push it up to 40 or even 50. Upgrade the Halidom to level 5. Mentions the Talon Stones again, and also that you need a level 200 for your facility level. Raise an adventure to 80. Interesting. Okay, they say you can level up any 5-star of your choice, so they kind of let you know that a 4-star can't reach level 80. And then unlocking 40 nodes, yeah. Which is perfect because you get 4-star characters for free from the story. Upgrading Worm Prince. I think this is the first time we've seen something from upgrading Prince. It says you can get consecrated water from the shop, but one thing that's not mentioned here is really you get most of your consecrated water from events, not necessarily from the shop. So you do want to purchase it from the shop when you have rupees, but now we're getting some might milestones, so 9,000 might. And they call out how upgrading facilities can help. And our first Void Battle milestone, and you get a 5-star summon voucher for a dragon. That is sweet. Then 13,000 might. This is a pretty big jump from 9,000 to 13,000, so I'm curious about the fact that they didn't go into slightly more detail here, because that is a pretty big jump to make. I wonder what they kind of expect players to be doing during that period to help get from that point to the next. But then they had something for clearing the Steel Golem Strike, and then IO and Expert. Placing a light Dracolith, which is from Chapter 9, Bond level 30 with the dragon. 15,000 might, which is yet another leap over the previous milestone. Clear Void Zephyr. Okay, so they started with Shroom, then went to Golem, and the Golem lets you get Flame Dull Res weapons to help clear Void Zephyr, and then they expect you to use Void Zephyr to, I guess, start preparing for High Midgard Stormrush trial, because they want you to get the Glorious Tempest Wormprint here from the treasure trade. And let's see, High Midgard on Standard, yep. You're going to get a 5-star summon voucher. That's like such a lucrative prize. Like, this actually incentivizes you if you're new, because that's pretty much going to be a new character. Like, it may not, unfortunately it may not, but like, when your collection's small, there's a good chance that it will be. Now we have clearing Chapter 10. So it looks like they skipped over Chapter 8. upgrading the Halidom, upgrading the Smithy. Yes, I'm so glad they put this here. Defeat a Manticore in a Void Battle. So I was worried that they were going to stop with the High Midgard Stormer thing and Void Zephyr and take that path, when in reality for a lot of players, like, you're perfectly good to go with this Chimera path, and they actually show the Chimera here and even tell you can fight a Phantom to make it easier. But the Chimera weapons are so good. Like, they're better than the High Midgard Stormer Bane weapon that you get from fighting Void Zephyr. So if you can get those Chimera weapons, like, that's the way to go. And then they even show the Agito Uprising here, which you unlock after 22,000 Mai. Gosh, I have to say I'm really impressed with this. It feels very comprehensive. I think if there's one thing they didn't really touch upon, it's maybe the fact that, or like the role that events play in everything, because limited events are a good source of, you know, new characters, raid dragons, lots of consecrated water, Eld water from facility events and story events. So I think if there was a way to somehow explain, maybe even using the event compendium, or maybe even explaining the Mercurial Gauntlet, because those are like two of the systems that aren't in that tutorial that are available on the main page of the game. So like you might notice those and wonder what they're about. But overall, this was really solid. And anyone who is referencing my beginner's guide in the past, I would love to just refer you to this now, as I think this is way more complete. And maybe one day if we do an updated beginner's guide, I will try and make an alt and see how long it takes me to actually clear out the Royal Regimen. That would be a really interesting experiment. So to end the video, I guess, let's actually take advantage of some of those 5-star summons that we got. It seems like there's a bunch, and unfortunately they don't usually update this like 5-star adventure summoning pool. They've done it once in the game, so I have everyone there, so I don't know if I'm even going to do that, but it is Eldwater. But we did get 3 5-star Dragon Summon vouchers, which is a lot, so hopefully we can get something good off of this. I most want Popstar Siren. I think she's the best dragon for me in the pool, since I don't have one Max Unbound. But we're going to get Nyarlathotep, so he's okay. I have one Max Unbound, so this is now working on my second copy, which he's not the greatest, but he's okay. He's gotten better after his buff, just still not one of the premier Shadow Dragons. Let's see if we can't do a little better on this pull. That's actually pretty solid for me. Long, I have never Max Unbound. I only have 1 copy or 2 copies, I think, so now I can get 1 or 2 Unbinds on my copy. And for our final Dragon Summon, who is it going to be? Can we get Siren? Alright, we got Pazuzu. Respectable nonetheless. I had a second Pazuzu sitting at 3 Unbinds, so I can now Max Unbind that. I'll go ahead and do that, and just to close out the video, the fact that I can get these rewards too means, like, this is just a win-win for everybody, in my opinion. This is fantastic for newer players. If you're an enfranchised player, like, you've already done everything, it was so simple to go through and collect all the rewards. I took my time with it just because I wanted to see, like, what are the signposts, how are they actually steering people through the content here, what are the types of endeavors they're asking us to do. But if you don't want to spend that time, like, you can just go in, probably just click accept on all your rewards, and if you look at my Wormite, it's actually ridiculous how much we've shot up right now. I think we were below 50,000 beforehand, and now we're like at this insane amount. Not to mention, there's like 3 of those adventure summoning tickets that I could use to cash out for Eldwater if I wanted to. So all in all, I think this is an excellent addition to the game. I'm looking forward to actually trying this out one day with an alt account and seeing what it's like from a new player experience, and I don't know where you find it, actually. Let's look. Maybe it's with the adventure guide. These are some comics they haven't really updated, but tell you some fun things about how to make progress in the game. But it wasn't there, so... Oh, there's our last new endeavor at the bottom for clearing Agito Uprising on Master. But in any case, wherever it's found, I'm just glad the Royal Regimen exists. I think it is super cool, and, well, I'm excited for what's to come in Dragalia Lost this week. There's still a lot going on. Just to show off Time We're in Torment here, I did not realize this, but apparently it reads through the text in Japanese if you have the voice settings in Japanese. And I'm really looking forward to this. Wukong is somebody that's been on people's wish list for a long time, since the Echoes of Antiquity raid event last year. So now he'll finally be playable, and it looks like he is a raid welfare unit. There's also been some data mines around this, which I won't get into for this video, but I will link to if you want to check them out, and I'll definitely make a video on it tomorrow to check it out. But everyone, that is going to do it for today, so thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.